Hello YouTube, and this is part 3 of What If Asta Had the Black Light Virus. This was picked via the poll on the YouTube community channel. Now then, with that being said, this is the second What If of the polls, and there is one left, as well as the main What Ifs that are still going to be happening, and 3 what ifs that have been picked by What If Lotto winners. With that being said, please enjoy, and let's get to it. Now then, as they are at the Black Bull's hideout, Yami calls over to Asta and Noelle, telling them that they need to go to the capital to give a report of what happened at the dungeon. As they understood, and Charmy wanted to go also, but was quickly shot down by Yami, stating, "You'll just go there and eat everything in sight," causing Charmy to be saddened by this. As they did go and outside the hideout, Asta extended his hand, producing the virus from his body, releasing Strike in its large 6-winged form. Asta hopped on and helped Noelle hop on as well, beginning to fly to the capital. Noelle stated, "This is still pretty weird, especially after seeing him as in a human form. You know that, right?" Asta laughing as he states, "Yeah, I guess so." With that, they do land in the capital, with Strike going back into Asta's body. As they walk towards the castle where they were supposed to meet for the debriefing, they run into Yuno, Klaus, and Mimosa. As Yuno still being antisocial as usual, Mimosa blushes from Asta getting near her, as similar as in canon, Noelle and Mimosa are freaking out, with Klaus giving a proper hello to Asta, and those two just wondering what's up with them. As they go looking for where they have to go for the debriefing, they run into the Wizard King and give their respects, as the Wizard King asks for the debriefing for what happened at the dungeon. After explaining everything that happened with the Diamond Kingdom and such, the Wizard King was happy and wanted to see their new spells. Yuno showed off his new spell, showing the book, but the words in his grimoire that appeared he can't really understand. Taking a look at it, the Wizard King reassured Yuno that he should be able to control it sooner or later. As Asta shows off his new sword, causing the Wizard King, when grabbing it, to hunt over from the sheer weight of it, and this was the lighter one. As he laughs, remarking, "I'm impressed you can even lift this thing." He can begin to feel his mana being drained. Looking at Asta, he's gotten reports of what Asta can do, and they remind him of something he's not too thrilled about asking. As Asta puts the sword away, the Wizard King looks serious at Asta, asking, "Tell me something. Do you know about 3 mages who were trying to create some sort of unusual experiment using living material, create a way for a mage to have multiple elemental attributes. Shocked by this, Asta goes a little pale. He looks at him, asking, well, what were these guys' magic types? As he responds, fire, lightning, as well as iron. You know, being quiet as Klaus, Mimosa, and Noel are looking at Asta as they see him look nervous. The Wizard King sighs, remarking, "It's fine. Given your age and when they disappeared, you were probably just a small kid. I won't blame you for anything. Just tell me if any of this rings any bells." Gulping, Asta sighed as he remarks, more than just bells." As he began to tell them what happened. How he was kidnapped when he was just very young, at around 5, and when those guys grabbed him, they strapped him down and injected something inside of him. Something they were working on. All he knew is that they saw him as a disposable guinea pig. Something that they could take care of once they were done. But what they didn't realize is that after they injected me, whatever they gave me just went out of control. It devoured them. After I came to, I knew what they made. Like I had all of their memories and knowledge after that. And I could feel something inside of me. Something I got used to calling a magic core. Basically, when I more or less ate them, they became magic cores. I can't access them for some reason. I can only guess it's because I don't have any magic of my own to start with. But when I was on my way back to the church, I ran into some animals and gave them part of this virus that they made. I only know it has something they called blacklight virus. I don't really get the name, but that's what they called it. I just ended up calling it monster magic. After I infected a wolf, a snake, and a bird, they infected others. Cerberus infected 2 wolves, and Sever infected 9 other snakes, while Strike, who's an owl, infected a falcon and a hawk. They became like servants to them and or living inside of them, as now they're living inside of me right now. As snakes begin to emerge from Asta's body. As Noel pipes up, stating that isn't the only thing that's happened, actually. Wizard King looking at Noel, asking, "What do you mean?" Asta sighs as Sever's heads revert back into his body as he produces the virus, leaking out as 3 forms emerge, revealing 2 men and 1 woman. Remarking, she's talking about this. They're able to take human form now. With Julius being story-eyed, looking at this thing, "Incredible! It's just incredible!" As he is completely fanboying out on this, but composes himself, stating, "Well, I'm sorry that had to happen to you." I knew a little about them and I was trying to track them down. All I found was a wrecked shed with their notes and such, mostly destroyed. And whatever they worked on was gone. I'm assuming it's in you now. Can you tell me of any dangers that come with it? Asta tells him that he can infect other things and probably other people with it, and they probably end up with the same abilities. If he infects other animals, they would become basically servants to him, and they would have their own minds, basically copying it from or developing it after the taking in the people that were eaten, I guess. It's still weird, but even if I can't use it, they can, and they help out a lot. They helped save plenty of people. With the Wizard King smirking, putting his hand on his shoulder. So did you. Don't give him all the credit. If it wasn't for you, that things might not have gone so well in some of your missions. Referring to Hawes Village and the dungeon. No, I mean referring to Saucy Village, sorry. Asta smirking, he states, thanks. As Noel, Mimosa, and Klaus are just jaw dropped. Klaus look at Yuno asking, did you know this? As Yuno states, a little. It wasn't my place to tell anybody, but I knew. With Klaus sighing and Mimosa stating, well, at least you're safe now. And you're using it to help out so many people. So they're somewhat okay with this. They know that there are some weird things out in the world in terms of magic. And that some items can cause a lot of harm on their own to begin with. So they aren't really that fazed by it, though are still somewhat weirded out as Severus remarks, so what's gonna happen with us? As Cerberus states, yeah, are we somewhat illegal or something? I'm a little confused now. Strike stating, please don't take us away from Master. The Wizard King stating, oh, you weren't kidding about the human mindset kind of stuff, but no. As long as you don't cause trouble for the country or, you know, really destroy anything or hurt anybody that doesn't deserve it or anything, we should be just fine. As they calm down. Going back in the Asta, Julius offered them to come to the store award ceremony as members of Magic Knight squads were going to be going up a rank. As this was accepted, they walked in with Julius, watching the ceremony as members of multiple Magic Knight squads were given their ranks. Afterwards, a banquet was held as the Wizard King had to leave. As they were eating, obviously, Solid walk up from behind the well with a glass of water and a mean smirk on his face. As he goes to try to pour the water on her head, a snake tail shoots out from Asta's neck, grabbing his arm, causing him to let it go without it falling on the well. Surprised by that, she looks back, as Asta takes a look as well, seeing that Sever is protecting Noel, with snakes coming out of Asta now, hissing at him, releasing Solid as he backs up stating, you worthless peasant, them with such horrid magic. What? How dare you? And all just to defend some worthless girl. At this, Asta got annoyed, jumped on the table, and gave his speech to everyone there, stating that he's going to be the Wizard King, and that no one is going to harm any of his friends, mock them, or anything of the sort. As Asta surrounded by sand in the cube, with the sand maid stating a lowly rat should know his place, as the sand is just dispelled from Asta's sword. As Solid and his sister fired off their magics at them, firing Sea Serpent's coil and Miss Spider's Miss Thread, easily being taken care of by magic. Being shot at with ice magic from a large wolf head coming from Asta's arm, freezing them solid. As Sand Armor Guard emerges behind Asta, gripping him, he breaks free with one of his arms and then decides enough, forming a blade from one of his arms that he got free, slicing the golem into pieces. As they were about to continue this fight, Nozel states enough. So much trouble for a commoner. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Letting off an intense amount of mana. Asta can sense the mana, but he can feel the coldness in the air. But there were those in Asta that could sense it. As the black light virus leaked from Asta, Cerberus, Sever, and Strike, taking their giant full forms and powering up, stare down Nozel along with Asta, ready to fight if they have to. With Fuegoleon yelling out, "That's enough!" Honestly, so much commotion, and over something so trivial. As he looks over at Asta, looking pretty impressed for what he just did and what just came out of him. As now we have Nozel and Fuegoleon staring each other down. This, however, was not long lived, as there was now explosions happening around the capital. As they were confused about what was going on, the Sandstone Mage, or the Stone Mage, creates a map of the entire city, showing what's going on, and they're being attacked from everywhere. Asta, being annoyed by this, yells out, "Cerberus, Sever, Strike! Go in all directions and take care of them." As he ran one way, they knew that Asta could handle his own and left, following their orders, with Fuegoleon stating, "Wait, where are you going?" "I'm going to where the loudest commotion is. It's probably the largest grouping of whatever's out there." As Fuegoleon tried to stop him, only to have Leopold chase after him, laughing. "Now this is what I'm talking about. Hey, let's be rivals." Asta saying, "Wait, what?" Never mind. As they begin running just all the way down the hall to the outside, with Fuegoleon given the same instructions as in canon for them to split up, taking Noel with him. As Asta found that these were just corpses, he didn't really need to hold back, as he unleashed the virus tendril shooting out from his torso, grabbing them, pulling them in, and eating them. He noticed these things don't really have monochores. They're just corpses being used as puppets. But that means someone's here being the puppet master. As Leopold went a different way to burn off more of the Rades, aka the zombies, as Asta was tearing through them, devouring them, striking them with the Demon Slayer and Demon Dweller sword to get rid of the magic inside of them. This is when he sees Rades about to harm a small girl, only to be met with a swift kick to the gut, sending him flying back away from her. Pointing his blade, he looks at him, stating, "What do you think you're doing?" At Rades just laughs. "I'm doing exactly what I was meant to do. Show this country how wrong it was to not acknowledge my power." As he was confused. What? As he states that he was so powerful, but he was always looked down upon and treated like garbage. Seeing anger in him, Asta can tell there's no reasoning with him, as now Jimmy appeared. Firing off the cursed orbs, Asta begins to deflect them in order to protect the girl, only to have some of them hit, causing wounds that weren't healing properly. With this, Rades laughed, remarking, "Ah, you fool! Anything my dear Jimmy hits doesn't heal, and it will keep bleeding and growing." As Asta just smirked, stating, "Is that all?" Using the Demon Slayer and Dweller blades to cut him to dispel the curse as he rapidly heals. Rades sees this, thinking, "What are you?" Doesn't really matter now, does it? Forming the virus over the Demon Slayer blade, he slashes it, creating a whip-like virus tendril with the Demon Slayer's sword at the end, stabbing clean through Jimmy, destroying him, knocking all the magic out. As Rades is getting annoyed, he summoned Alfred. Though Asta dodging the lightning, he then used his other hand to flip around the Demon Dweller sword and pretty much jabbling it into Alfred. As then he creates the last wraith he has with the barrier magic, having it summoned to him in order to protect him while simultaneously attacking, this time aiming at the girl. Asta, creating a shield with his free hand, uses it to block most of the attacks and tank them, as he uses the sword to knock them back and destroy all the attacks he can. This being when the well shows up, creating the sea dragon's lair around the girl, telling Asta to finish this. As Fuegoleon was watching in intrigue, Asta was free to barrel towards Rades and his final wraith, as he lifted up the Demon Slayer sword, striking it down, destroying the barrier, wraith, and partially crushing Rades on at the bottom underneath his wraith. This is when Fuegoleon wraps up Rades with his flame magic, clapping his hands congratulating Asta, as Asta retrieves his sword that got stabbed into Alfred. Asta smirks, stating it was nothing, as another portal opened up, revealing the Mud Wraith. As it attacked, Noelle quickly used Sea Dragon's lair to protect them. As Leopold got there, seeing this, and struck it as quick as possible, with as much fire as he could muster, destroying it. Since it was just a corpse, it really wasn't that hard to burn. As Fuegoleon continued and grabbed Rades' grimoire, as he remarks that he does recognize him from a previous exam, opening up his grimoire as Rades yells not to, revealing that Rades only had a single page in his grimoire. With Rades yelling out, "Don't you dare look down on me!" Completely furious. As a portal then begins to appear below Fuegoleon, he disappears as other portals emerge across the capital, where the Magic Knights and Sever, Strike, and Cerberus were teleporting them. However, one was able to escape. One human, one of Asta's subordinates, was able to escape. As they recognized that Fuegoleon and a number of the Magic Knights were gone, Noelle and Leopold were confused. Asta, somewhat sensing something odd, goes and lashes a tendril at the pile of corpses, causing one of them to jump up, going through a spatial portal and landing on the roof, remarking, "I'm surprised you noticed me," as Asta devoured the wraith bodies that were just piled up there. As we see Vatos, who states, "But I apologize, it won't be enough," removing the fake zombie face and using his spatial magic to bring their friends over to them. Rades laughing as he wants to kill them. As they get ready for a fight, Fuegoleon drops in, missing an arm. Leopold freaking out from this. He's stunned as Noelle hurries up trying to stop the bleeding and creates a sea dragon's lair. Asta's angry, obviously, but he has to do something now. He knows a little bit of how this works. He just has to make sure that he doesn't leave any of the virus in Fuegoleon. Producing the blacklight virus, he places his hand on the wound, gesturing Noelle to step back, as he regrows Fuegoleon's arm. With Sally seeing this, stating, "Oh, interesting. What is that? It's not magic, but it's so amazing." As Asta was regenerating his arm, he was also simultaneously making sure to yank out any and all fragments of the virus from him. Once he was done, his arm was back, and the grimoire wasn't disappearing, so that was a good sign. Leopold snapped out of it, asking, "What? Hey, thank you." Relieved that his brother's going to be okay, but in shock, realizing that they're surrounded. As a mage flips open his grimoire to have root emerge from the ground, absorbing Noelle's barrier. With this, Fuegoleon and Asta are ready for a fight. As they go charging in, a wind mage tries to attack, but is swiftly eaten by a large snake head that just comes shooting out from the next street over, and then slithers over the building, separating into 9 different snakes, as a larger snake then runs down the street, hovering over the others, with Asta smirking, stating, "I think you guys might want to rethink your plan." As they get ready for another fight, Sally creates her sticky salamander, as he looks at Asta, stating, "Oh, you're more interesting than I thought. I'll make sure to bring you back for a nice lab session," with a big grin on her face, only to hear a giant cry that sounded like an unusually large bird screeching from the sky. Looking up, they see a giant bird with 6 wings, as it strikes down, releasing lightning magic. Sally, using Sticky Salamander, boosted with a dark magic item to resist it, protecting her allies. As Vatos remarked, seeing the magic knights he just sent away, they're already back. Using his spatial magic to get them out of there. As they did escape, Sally was saddened that she couldn't take Asta. As for Yuno, while all this was going on, he was facing the Ass Witch, who was with the Eye of the Midnight Sun, similar as in canon, awakening the proper power of his new wind spirit. As for the Magic Knight, once they land, they looked at the snakes that were just surrounding them, as the attacking force that called themselves the Eye of the Midnight Sun just disappeared. The 9 snakes went into the body of the 10th one, as it took a human form. As for the giant bird, it shrunk as it had Cerberus split out of its body, with Strike being relieved that Asta's okay, as both of them take human forms as well, with Cerberus pretty much just jumping towards Asta, hugging him, yelling, "Master!" with Sever bonking him on the head, stating, "What happened to you two?" Which Strike replied, "Well, we were sent away with spatial magic. We had to fly all the way here with these guys on my back, and Cerberus in me." As the Magic Knights are just confused about this, Noel snaps out of it enough, seeing Fuegoleon on the ground, as he states, "Hurry up and get Fuegoleon to the medics, now!" As Mimosa used her magic on him, seeing that he was okay. Missing a sleeve on his clothing, but okay. As Asta pulls Leopold and Noel to the side, asking them about if they could keep the fact that he regrew Fuegoleon's arm secret. As Leopold did owe Asta, he stated, "Alright, but if my brother pieces things together on his own, then you're on your own. And if he asks me how he has his arm back, if he remembers not having one, then I'm not gonna lie to him." Asta sighing, stating, "That's fair." As Fuegoleon was being taken away to be examined, Nozel looked at Asta, asking, "What is with them?" pointing at Cerberus, Sever, and Strike. Asta remarking, "Well, They're the ones you saw staring down at you at the banquet. It's just that they can take a human form. Prize? With Nozel not even bothering, he asked, "We'll have questions about this." Asta was nervous until Sever states, "The Wizard King already knows about us, and he has fully accepted us. If you have any questions, I would recommend you ask him." Being the more level-headed of the trio, Nozel just looks back at Noelle, Asta, and Mimosa, asking if this was true. Mimosa and Noelle backing this up. As he sighed, just leaving it be for now. Once the Wizard King was able to get back, he was given a report about what happened, and that Fuegoleon is currently in a coma. And other things, like the name of their attackers, the Eye of the Midnight Sun. As this was troubling, the Wizard King asked them to stay vigilant, to make sure to watch over our country and protect against any further attacks by this Eye of the Midnight Sun. With Asta asking about the guy in the orb, as he smirks, remarking, "Whoa, well, as it happens, I accidentally came across the Eye of the Midnight Sun myself and caught one of their members." This is when Yuno states, "Yes, I also faced one of their members and defeated her. She is currently in captivity, sir." With Julius stating, "Wonderful. Now we have 2 enemy captives to interrogate. Great job, everyone. Asta, I'd like to talk to you for a moment." As Noelle followed, Charmy latched onto Asta's back, laughing, with Asta remarking, Wait, Charmy? How long have you been here?" As she revealed she used her cotton magic to sneak along, ending up finding the kitchen, and having fun with the royal chefs, and stating, "I also found my love." Confusing Asta. What? As Julius was just laughing. After that, and he was able to talk with them freely, he asked Asta if the virus thing would work on any animals like magic beasts. Asta thought for a moment and stated, "Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't think there's a reason why it wouldn't." As he then smirked and continued, "Well, there are certain magic beasts that, when they have children, spawn in various different shapes. But there are also magic beasts that stay as a certain type of magical empowered animal. There are varying types of this, and I would like to gather some of them for you to infect." Somehow they were able to invade the capital, our most secure location in the Clover Kingdom. Whoever these people are from the Eye of the Midnight Sun, we're gonna need all the strength we can get. And I understand that the Sever, was it, ate one of the enemies? As Sever came out of Asta in her human form, bowing, stating, "Yes, it was one with a wind magic element. And I already possess the fire magic monocore." As in one hand she produces flames, and in another one she produces a small tempest of wind. With him just having sparkly eyes, stating, "And I also sense your mana has also increased." Brilliant! As he is excited, he remembers he has to focus. Coughing, stating, yes. Well, now we have something else to do. I will have some associates of mine look and gather up some mythical beasts. I would prefer that you stay vigilant for any activity from the Eye of the Midnight Sun. The way this so-called black light virus seems to work, it could be a key element in fending them off. So, the least I can do is send some of my men to go catch some magic beasts. As for the ones that will be captured, I do have a couple in mind. As Asta smirked, stating, alright, I'll trust you. As he then produced Strike in the giant bird form, with Julius being star-eyed again, stating, incredible! Ah, as he pets Strike's wings, he states, and such fluffy wings, such fluffy feathers, and quite the color palette. As Strike was able to speak in human language in this form, stating, thank you. Julius smirked as Strike took off with Noelle, Charmy, and Asta. As they were wondering what the Eye of the Midnight Sun's goals are to begin with, and why did they attack anyways? Well, Noelle mentioned that Fuegoleon's pendant was missing, but was that really something so important that they go ahead and attack the capital just to get a single trinket? Asta thinking, stating, I'm not entirely sure. But didn't the Wizard King state that there was some kind of stone tablet that had other stones like it inside? As Noelle was thinking, stating, this doesn't make any sense. Why all this trouble for a gem? As they weren't going to figure anything out now, so they just went back to the Black Bull's hideout and filled in Yami and the others. Yami, breathing out a breath of smoke, states, huh, so he's down for the count for right now. Well, that ain't good. But if he's healed up physically, then when he wakes up, he shouldn't be too bad. Either way, good work. And congratulations on the promotion in rank. As they smirked, Yami tells them that they shouldn't have any missions for a while, at least not that he knows of, so they should relax after something like that. And taking his advice, they went off and ate. As this is where we'll be ending this part of the What If on. I do hope you have enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys later.